Good morning. It's Sunday the 17th of May and we are still in lockdown, so we're still broadcasting here from our house in Spilsby. This is a sermon for Sunday the 17th of May 2020 and it's entitled Love, Shine a Light. While sitting last night I was listening to this year's attempt at Eurovision Song Contest, a very different show this year, entitled Love, Shine a Light. A change from the normal routine. Instead of the artists performing live, this year the artists were actually speaking from their own homes and sharing a few words mixed with musical interludes. I was pleasantly surprised to hear many of them speak of faith, hope and love and openly refer to God as they tried to focus on messages of love and moving forward from COVID. The programme concluded with a musical rendition of Love, Shine a Light, the UK's winning entry in 1997 by Katrina and the Waves. It's a repetitious encouragement for us all to shine a light in every corner of our lives, the lives of those around us, and indeed the world. The Bible focuses a lot on the importance of light, and as John 8 verse 12 says,
Later, in one of his talks, Jesus said to the people, I am the light of the world, so if you follow me, you won't be stumbling through the darkness, for living light will flood your path.
So we see here, Jesus referred to himself as the light of the world. God sent him to be a light for a world which had grown dark and moved away from the essence of its being, its creator God. Light is vitally important for life, for every one of us. It helps us see, both in the darkness and in our lives, Jesus shows us the truth. It guides us as we move about, and Jesus guides us through life. Light promotes growth and life. A plant cannot grow unless it has light. Light warms and comforts. Jesus is there to welcome and care for each one of us. Light gives vitamin D. Vitamin D, a source which keeps us healthy and helps us fight disease. May be very, very important at this time. Light is vital to life. Jesus is vital to my life. Is he vital to yours? Is he even in your life? Well, whilst you ponder this question and its personal relevance, I'm going to outline the two key points of today's message. And firstly, we're going to look at Jesus' light and the fact that Jesus' light is available to anyone, to everyone, young, old, infirm, well, healthy, whoever you are, Jesus' light is available to you. And our second thought today will be, okay, I've invited Jesus in, but how do I keep his light shining in my life, especially in these desperate, hard times? How do I share that light of love with the people around me? So if we look back at John 8 verse 12, we hear that Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. At this time, maybe more than ever, there is a darkness around. Death lurks around every corner. Also, we're led to believe. The coronavirus is said to be a threat to everyone, and we must all carry on our daily lives in very different ways. Our routines have changed. We've had an enforced lockdown at home, whole families together for extended periods of time. Yes, there'll be some great memories, but also some difficult times, some stressful moments as we get under each other's feet, sometimes quite literally. But the enforced social distancing and need to keep ourselves away from others as much as possible for most is difficult. We are people, I believe, who need one another to congregate together, to love and support physically, emotionally and socially. And that basic need at the moment has been taken away from us. And as time goes on, many of us may feel low, depressed and find it difficult to see a brighter future. Even those who are already committed to Christ and have him in our lives may find our way blurred. Maybe we've left God by the wayside, or we feel he's left us. Other things have come in and Christ has been pushed aside. This is a message therefore for you today too. Even now, as we started to move forward, slightly, slowly, as we come cautiously out of lockdown, people once again feel more unsettled. Though it was hard, they'd got used to a new normal, the new normal of staying at home. But now, how will they move forward? Boris himself actually said, coming down the mountain is the hardest part sometimes. That reminds me clearly of a time as a child. I must have been around 10 when we went as a family to the Lake District, a regular holiday spot, loved by us all and still loved by us today. Dad, in his usual way, had planned a walk. It wouldn't have been an easy walk, and it wouldn't have been a short walk, because Dad liked his walks, and we got to like those walks too. It was a walk up Red Pike. The ascent was hard, but it was nothing like the descent. When we came across the loose, dense red stone shale, which lay all over the mountain in our path, it couldn't be avoided. With every step, your foot slipped forward. There was no grip. There was no alternative route. We couldn't stay on the mountain. We had to carefully and cautiously move forward, individually, taking tiny steps, and as a family supporting one another. Actually, the more I remember about it, I think it was actually Dad that supported us. He patiently stood by each of us, giving us a hand and some encouraging words. And true to form, Dad, sometimes those words would have been firm, but they were probably what we needed at the time. And once Dad had got each of us down, up he'd go again for the next member of the family, until we were all safely back down on the ground. So as I remember that descent down Red Pike, it reminds me that sometimes we need someone else. Dad was there for each of us, and he repeatedly returned up the mountain to give support. Today we hold close to those living in the same household as us. They're the ones who have supported us physically. But maybe they're now tired. Maybe they've expelled all their energy. Maybe they need someone else. Jesus is the one who has promised he is there for everyone. As the verse says again, whoever follows me. As the creator of man, God has a desire for everyone to come back to him. And we can only do this by asking Jesus into our lives to be there for us, to support us. On that descent of Red Pike, I faced some very dark moments, and my vision began to be impaired as tears began to stream from my eyes. I can't do it! I can't see! I'm going to fall! Help! But Dad persevered, and he admonished, don't be stupid. You can do it. You have to do it. You can't stay here. We can't stay where we are. We need to move forward in life. We need to move out of our homes, and we need to move back into the world, to begin a school, to go to work, to face others, to face our fears, and to extend, to do all this carefully. None of us knows what the future holds for us, and none of us know what will become or be of coronavirus. We know that during this time many people have sought the meaning of life. Many have accessed church, many more than would normally do so through the internet and through services being broadcast. Many have been led to Christ, and many are praying and have turned to prayer. The doors to our homes can't be shut forever. We need to open up our doors. We need to venture out. And likewise, the door to our heart needs to be open too. Jesus is waiting for you to admit your need for his help, his encouragement and his support in your life. He wants you to ask him in, and he wants to be there for you throughout the bad and the good times. Maybe we still can't see our friends and our families. I miss my friends, my family, my church family, the youth and the tots, the friends I can't be with. But I know more than anything, Jesus is with me. He's with me today. He's with me now. He's been with me throughout this. He's been with me in the past, in the present, and he'll be with me in the future. So if you're missing your friends and your family, maybe it's time for you to invite in that new friend, Jesus. Ask him into your life and he'll be with you. And often I ask the children at Sunday school, I can remember Freya saying to me, when I ask her, how do you know Jesus is in your life? It's in my heart. It's in my heart. I know he's here. I've got a fuzzy, warm feeling inside me. It's difficult to describe. And the only way I can put a parallel to that is when someone comes into the shop, the sweet shop, and asks me, what does a sweet taste like? I can't tell them. My tastes are different to theirs. The only way I can do that is to give them a sweet. Let them try for themselves. And so it is with Jesus. We need to try him for ourselves. The world may be masked in a haze of uncertainness, just as my vision was blurred as I came down Red Pike. Blurred by my tears, blurred by my fear. I had to ask Dad's help, and he guided me through the blurriness. He held my hand, he encouraged, he admonished, and he saw me through. So if your life is blurred and you can't see straight, maybe now Jesus is trying to get through. Maybe now is the time to invite him into your life. But maybe you've already done that. Maybe you're sitting here listening and saying, but I have Christ in my life. He is there for me. I know that. But maybe this blip in our life, in our world, has made us doubt him or made us find it hard to hold on to him. Maybe we need to recommit our lives too. He will become, as he has promised to us, our light. He will give us light, and he will give us light for the future. So just like the sweet, no one can fully describe the taste of it. Jesus needs to be experienced. A Cop, a Bon-Bon, a chewy Haribo sweet, they all need to be experienced to be able to be tasted fully for ourselves. Jesus needs to be experienced. He needs to be asked into your life for you to understand and have him by your side. And so, as we move on to my second point, we've already, or you may have already made that decision, or you may just be making that decision. Whatever position you are in the decision with Christ in your life, how can we keep that decision to the forefront? How can we keep Jesus in our lives? In Matthew 5, verses 14 to 16, we read,
You are the world's light, a city on a hill glowing in the night for all to see. Don't hide your light, let it shine for all. Let your good deeds glow for all to see, so that they will praise your heavenly Father.
So once we've invited Christ into our lives and we're living as Christians, we're told we are to shine and to share our light, or share Christ's light more importantly. We share that in a number of ways, and a number of ways in which we can still do that today. Even if it might be a smile as you pass somebody walking socially distanced down the road, or it may be practical help as we take them a parcel or something they need, or as we call them. How do we sensitively, though, and without boasting personally, remember to glorify God? I believe it's simple. We reach out and we touch people with God's love. Our main focus as a church here at Spilsby Christian Fellowship is to be a light to the community. Our aims state our desire to share God's love practically, emotionally and spiritually. Now, whilst this might be particularly challenging at the moment, as we don't see people, we can't have direct face-to-face links with them. We've had to find new ways of doing this, staying in touch through Facebook, text and emails, paying brief visits, socially distanced of course. We're dropping off care packages and wellbeing packs. That's how we show God's love. So how do we, if we've not got those things to do and if we're at home, how do we, even on the days when we're feeling dull, when we're feeling down, when we're feeling no light, when we're feeling we can't go on? I admit to having my own days, lots of them over the last few weeks, when I've not been able to see clearly. When the tears have come, when the vision's been blurred, when my path has not been clear, and I've needed Christ more than ever on those days. One of the key things for me, and I talked about it on the first message I gave in COVID, it seems a while, 7 weeks ago I think, maybe nearly 8, was to guard myself and to encourage you to guard yourself from misinformation and indeed too much information. I need to be aware of what I'm listening to, what I'm reading on social media. Nigel has Radio 4 on in his radio in his car, and I know he plays it most of the time when he's driving about. He'll often come out with different bits of information he's found relating to COVID. But as soon as I get into his car to share a journey, I have to turn it off. Far too much information. It's more than I can handle. Sometimes I need that space. Today in society, many of us crave the information. Many of us crave the interactions made possible via social media. And although I must admit, Facebook has been particularly vital for me and in my communication with the families we normally meet with. Messenger has been a lifeline, a way to connect with people and support one another. But it's also been, excuse my way of describing it, a hotbed of information which can easily threaten our own personal emotional well-being. We don't know what's right, we don't know what's wrong, we don't know what's been exacerbated, we don't know what the government is telling us. So for me, the only way I can cope is to listen to the news direct from the government, maybe once every 2 or 3 days, just to keep me informed, to keep me in the picture, to let me know what I need to know. So again, another way in which we maybe can keep Christ's light shining. Firstly, to be aware of the information we're reading, to be aware and not saturate ourselves with the news of the world, but to instead spend some time focusing on God's word. Now, I openly admit that I'm not very good at this. I find it very hard. I find it very difficult to sit and spend time focusing and reading the Bible. But that's what we need to do. And that's what I believe I need to do. Nigel needs to do. We need to do more as a family and individually. But I encourage you too to develop and deepen your own personal relationship with God. Look into the Bible, and in the pages you will find peace, you will find strength, and you will find his promise of a hope for the future. And as we continue to develop our relationship with Christ, we can't only do that through reading his Bible. We need to pray. We need to spend that spare time we have talking to Christ. But it's not only about the spare time, it's about having Christ and praying to him in our daily lives, in talking to him as we go about our work, as we go about our time at home. Prayer doesn't need us to close our eyes and put our hands together. Prayer is and can be a dialogue with God. We can talk anytime, any place and anywhere. Sorry, that's not an advert. We can do that with prayer. God is there wherever we are. So when we go out on our daily walks, as we observe the natural world around us, we can give thanks to God for everything he's given us. As we go past the houses, we can pray for the people that live inside those walls, behind those doors. As we pass people, we can pray for them and wish them a good day, a happy greeting, a smile, and a smile goes miles. You may find that you want to remember your prayers, particularly at this time. A prayer journal may be a useful tool. Write down things to pray. As you come across them or as someone asks for prayer, pray about it. Write it down and look back over your prayer thoughts, your prayer journal, make sure you write down those things that have happened, those prayers that have been answered. Tick them off and remember to thank God and give him the glory for those prayers that have been answered. Whether they've been answered in a way you want them to be answered, or whether they've been answered in a completely different way, that's still an answer, and that's an answer we should be grateful for. Now, if you find it difficult to pray, please bear with me, because I don't see you as children, but I find sometimes, for me in particular, to see things through the eyes of a child works really well and is really helpful. So if you see in my hands here, I've got a teaspoon. Now, prayer, I know lots of people find prayer hard. I know lots of people have said to us, will you pray for me, because I can't pray. I don't know how to pray. I find prayer difficult. But let's take it down to its basic form. Prayer can be done in a simple way. Think about the teaspoon, the abbreviation for teaspoon, TSP. Firstly, T. Thank God for something, big or small. We all have something to be thankful for. Today started off as a tiny little thing, but on the 17th of May 2007, I at this time was giving birth to our teenager, who is over there in the distance in his usual place sitting by his computer. Caleb, happy birthday today. He's turned a teenager, so no doubt we have lots of different things to face in the future. S, the second initial, teaspoon, TS, say sorry. Again, we are all less than perfect. We all do things wrong every day. Maybe a cruel word said, maybe an unkind look, or even a negative thought, or a physical thing we do for someone. Say sorry in your prayer. Excuse me. And the last letter, P. Now, P stands for please. Please, the word we should put in front of every request. Please, please God. Please God, will you help me? Please God, I'm feeling down today. Please God, I need this. Please God, I'm desperate. Please, please God, I need prayer for my family, for my friends. TSP. Thank you, sorry, please God. Those are a simple way we can all pray. And now going back to the things we can do as Christians to show God's love and God's light to the people around us. Remember, Jesus himself has been through so much more than each of us. He was the one to put to death on that cross. He knows how it feels to be isolated. He knows fear, he knows grief. Fix your eyes on him and let him be your support. There is so much in this world we can't control at the moment. But we can control what we look at. We can control what we read. We can control what and who we focus on. So let your focus be Christ. And finally, concentrate on sharing Christ's love with those around you. Which bit of darkness can we shine a light on? We can't take all the darkness away. We can't take all the fear. We can't take all the worry. But we can show a small chink of light to those around us, those near us, those far from us. When we have received the light, Jesus doesn't want to keep us. Jesus doesn't want us to keep that light. As I can show you here, that light must shine out. He doesn't want us to keep the light hidden, to keep it to ourselves. Because when we turn it on ourselves, it's only for us. Shine that light into those that you are with. When you have received the light, share it with others, particularly those in the house with you. If you have a difficult teenager, as I've just said, we've probably got one coming forward. Actually, that's not fair. He's not a difficult teenager. He's quite a good lad. Share God's love. Ask God to show you how to love them. If it's a grumpy spouse, and we're all, unfortunately, that grumpy spouse at times, ask God to show you how to encourage them. If you've got a little one at home and your toddler's having a tantrum, ask God for patience. And ask him more than anything for a sense of humour. For patience, for care, for understanding. If it's a housemate you need space from, ask God to provide you with that space. Maybe just even 10 minutes up in your own room. Maybe even if you have to in the toilet. 10 minutes sitting and having time away. And for those people outside of the household, lift up the receiver. Lift up your mobile phone. Messenger's good, yes. Text is good, but sometimes talking to someone is just what they need. Sometimes the one-to-one reality, hearing that voice, knowing that person cares is so much more. FaceTime if you can. And if you can, now following the new rules of social distancing, go out, be alert. We can meet with one person outside your home and tell that person how much you care. Show them you are there, but more important, more than ever before, show them that God is there for them too. And encourage them, if they don't have a personal relationship with God, encourage them to discover one for themselves. Talk to them, pray for them. So as we end today's talk, I just want to encourage you to draw near to God, love those around you, and to shine God's everlasting light into their lives today. God bless. And if you want any more help or any more support, please message us here at Spilsby Christian Fellowship. We may not be here physically. We may not be able to see you, but we want to be there for you. In God's name, God bless. Amen. Thank you.